This is Humans.
Humans. I'm
Hank Green. Helen Hunt has had one of the stranger, more interesting careers that you can have as an artist in Hollywood. Not because of the highs, an Oscar, 4 Emmys, 4 Golden Globes, 7 seasons of one of the most beloved sitcoms ever made, but because of the variety. She has acted, she's directed, she writes screenplays. She directed and wrote an indie movie that spent 10 years trying to get made, only to have it lose distribution. She's been in hit blockbuster movies, she's been in flops, she's done Shakespeare, she's done comedy and drama. Her IMDb is insane. Her most recent credit is now. Least recent is from 1973 when she was 9. She had at least one credit in every year from when she was 9 until she was 38, and then she took a 1-year break. She meditates daily, she surfs in Maui, she takes college literature classes as an antidote to Instagram, and she just received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Taormina Film Festival. This summer, she'll play opposite Kenneth Branagh at the Royal Shakespeare Company. What do women want? Apparently variety. I am so excited to talk to Helen for a lot of reasons. I want to think with her about how we stay engaged in our world, how we do that intelligently and carefully, what keeps someone choosing harder, more interesting paths, how to not just ride waves, but go and find them, how to be absolutely relentless. Also, I want to take the chance to finally apologize for writing a 2-minute song about how I had a massive crush on her when I was in high school. In my defense, it was the first song I ever released on YouTube, and I did not imagine it would ever reach her ears. But first, Helen Hunt, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Here's what I know. You have good friends.
Oh, yeah?
So I got on Twitter back when it was Twitter. I guess it's not Twitter anymore.
Yeah, sure.
And I used to be on Twitter the way you watch a horror movie if you're scared, you've got your hands up and you're peeking through your hands. I half engaged. But your name kept coming up.
Oh, no.
And I didn't know who you were. And it kept coming up and coming up. I mean, that was a couple years.
A couple years of...
Yeah, and there was nothing creepy. But why is this name continually showing up? And then there was a deluge of people saying, it's his birthday.
Oh.
Write something. It would mean everything. And so I just took the leap of faith that you weren't an axe murderer. And I wrote you a happy birthday. But what happened? Why me? How did it all start?
Well,
Hank Green, why has your name been in my head for decades and decades?
I will explain it to you.
Okay.
I was, in high school as Mad About You was happening, and you're a very beautiful person and very funny. And that show is oh man, the way that Mad About You is sexy is so good.
You were wise beyond your years. If you were in high school and thought Mad About You was sexy, I thought it was sexy, but you thought it was sexy?
I did.
Well, that's great. I think that's a compliment to us both.
Yeah. A lot of people listening probably have not seen Mad About You. But the great thing about it, there's so much TV sitcom about a husband and wife where the husband is kind of big and bumbling and useless, and the wife is beautiful and skinny and strong. And the amazing thing about Mad About You is you trade those roles off.
Yeah.
Where sometimes one is weak and the other has to be strong. And that's what marriage is actually like.
That was a very conscious goal.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Let's never let them say he's the neurotic one and she's the strong one. So that's good that landed.
The way that they were in love physically and mentally was very good. The way that they were playful, the way that sex was not something that was out of control, but was something that was indulged in and loved.
Scheduled. Sometimes scheduled.
Sometimes scheduled.
And much like life.
This is also how marriage is, yeah. And also Paul Reiser, no one gives him credit, but he's also hot.
Totally.
Yeah.
And an actor. I knew his stand-up, and I was just kind of attracted to his stand-up because it wasn't mean. It lined up with my funny bone. And then I was in an acting class long before anybody knew who I was, except maybe you. And I noticed, he cares enough to sit in this hours-long class. He's an actor. Because there are stand-ups who do a perfectly lovely job on their TV shows, but they're not actors. So I kind of got, he's an actor. And then this show came up, and I had just started doing movies, and that was a time where if you did movies, you kind of didn't do TV. Finally, I'm out of TV and in movies, and I was starting to do movies. And he came over to my house for dinner because his wife knew my roommate. It was all swell, and I chatted with him. And then he said, I've got this show. And I thought, oh, shit. Now I've done it. Now I'm going to have to call this perfectly lovely person and say, I don't want to be your wife in the show where I'm just your wife.
Yeah.
But then I read it and I was like, oh, this is a big, juicy thing, and I would really like to be in it.
It's so interesting because YouTube was also like this for a while where like if you did YouTube, you couldn't be on TV. Now you kind of can.
Now it's all just the more. Yeah, well, that's how it should be.
And also, what is even TV anymore?
You say that like it's not a giant like hunk of the glacier that has fallen off of my work and career and all of my fellows. Like, what is it anymore?
Yeah, it's very weird. We should get into the industry, but I want to finish my story.
Okay.
About how this came to be, which is simply that I started this project with my brother in 2007 where we made videos back and forth to each other every day, which meant that we were always hungry to find something to talk about. And I had just started to learn how to play guitar. It was so fun to try and put that to, like comedy songs. And so I wrote basically a comedy song about being in love with Helen Hunt, which is too much. Because you're like a person in a way that I had no idea was the case at the time. That's such a strange thing about fame. I don't know. Perhaps we should talk about that, though. Because you've been weirdly famous. There's like Mad About You fame, and then there's like winning an Oscar as good as it gets across from Jack Nicholson fame. How have you felt about that? About how you take up space in a lot of people's heads?
I mean, it's confusing because I take up space in a lot of people's heads and then you haven't heard of me at all.
Oh, Twister, sorry.
Someone just instant message you and say Twister.
No.
Twister, idiot.
I just assume that is the thing you get recognized for the most.
It depends on where you are. It depends on the demographic. But you're unusual that in high school you cared about Mad About You, so you get some kind of extra points. And I'm not sure what category.
Well, I think it served me well. Whatever I learned from that show and or I learned that led me to enjoying that show has served me well.
There was a moment around 2000 where it was all happening at once. And that's when I suddenly went, oh, shit, what if this is forever? I was followed around and all those things that are a little disconcerting if you're a woman, especially.
Paparazzi show up.
It was not good. And I thought, what if this is forever? But it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And now I live in a city that's a little bit like, yeah, whatever. I just saw 3 much more famous people than you. So that kind of helps.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I wanted a civilian life and I got it. Now I want good work, which it helps to be more famous to get good work.
Oh, God, yeah.
So that's where it's a little bit like I really enjoy being a man among men and living a life on the ground like you do and other people. But then it's harder to get the work that you want to do because they want famous people.
They want famous people. I mean, first of all, you don't have, I assume, you don't have to work. But there's something that's kept you hungry and interested for all of these years. And ambitious.
Yeah. Yeah, I am ambitious. It's all comes back to like the words on the page. You know what I mean? I'm about to go do The Cherry Orchard, this Russian beast of a play and a giant beast of a part. And I'm excited and scared. And I feel like I listened to one of your podcasts and I thought, I bet our brains are so different. Yours seems all scrubbed and clean and sciencey and mine's all art and fuzzy and filled with literature and then big, giant, gaping holes. But I love taking this thing I've done for my whole life since I was 9 years old. This is an art, even though it's invisible.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Well, if you write a book, you hold it in your hand or you hold it on your Kindle. And if you paint a painting, you go, here it is. And then if you do this piece of work, it can, I believe, because I've been on the receiving end of it, it can matter to people. It can move people. It can give them a new perspective. It can give them a break from how hard the world is. I think theater and movies really can matter in a big way, but then it's gone. I'm going to step off stage in this play and did it ever happen?
Play definitely disappears. Movies don't disappear, but they are very sort of like, they take a time. They happen, 1 second per second.
What does that mean? See, that's your scrubbed, crispy brain. What does that mean? 1 second per second?
Well, like a book, I can read a page and I can be like, ooh, I really liked that. And then I read the page again. Or I can like, this paragraph isn't doing it for me. And I move on to the next one. A painting, you could spend 0 seconds looking at a painting or you could spend 5 years looking at a painting. Whereas a movie, if it's 88 minutes long, it's kind of 88 minutes long. You could leave, go back or go to the bathroom, but like mostly it's 88 minutes long. So there's this thing about film and TV where they sort of like happen and then you are expected to move on.
Yeah, I mean, there is that rare movie that that walks alongside you your whole life, and they're different for everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I've met people who live in places where there are tornadoes who say every year when it's tornado season we put it on. I'm like, really? And it's their comfort thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's real. Like, I haven't heard it once. I've heard it 30 times. You know, Jim Brooks's movies, which I was in one, As Good as It Gets. He did Terms of Endearment, for example. That's a movie that could walk alongside you your whole life. And I think it keeps coming back to the writing. It's the writing. It's the writing. It's the writing.
Yeah, you don't necessarily even have to like watch it over and over again for it to hit over and over again.
Yeah, and if it gets you 10 years later, that's like attention must be paid. Something has happened.
Yeah, there are those things in the world. This is really important, I think, because I didn't used to do this. I used to have these thoughts that I would return to over and over again. I'd be like, well, that's what it's like to be a person. And now I'm like, wait a second, why is that happening?
Why is that sentence coming to you over and over? Is that
Yeah,
you mean?
what is it about this thought that like has created such hooks in my brain? It like really must have fit into a problem I had and been something that was part of a solution that I needed.
A lot of people in their 20s read Rilke. I'm not the only one. God knows it's almost a cliche, but there's a poem and there's a line, I want to be with those who know secret things or else alone. And I was like,
Oh,
that's me. And it's still true.
oh, that's good.
So that's one of my, that's one that I have.
Do you, so I've been on like one set. I did like a commercial that was like a 5-minute movie. So I've done this one time, literally. And what it felt like is if it had extended for days, I would have fallen in love with these people. Even the ones I didn't like. We were like at summer camp, you know, we had to just like live in it.
That's it. You got it. I mean, even more in your 20s and 30s, you're just, you know, we're all in a weird city outside of real time. It's not the day world. It's the underworld. We're all in it together. And then the really disorienting part is when it ends.
Yeah.
Like, where did everybody go?
It doesn't take that long sometimes to make a movie. Sometimes it's like 2 weeks and then you never see these people again.
Yeah. And you've gotten so close and you've shared whatever the material has stirred up and then it's over. When you're a kid, that was hard for me. Like, where did they all go? I thought they were my family.
Is there a person who you would pick to just like do a scene every time? Just somebody who's just like, it's comfortable and it's great and they're just a delight.
Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
Comfortable and a delight.
Yeah.
I mean, and I often to this day think, what if he'd been a drag?
Yeah.
What if we hadn't gotten along? Because it ended up being 8 years. And I got a text from him yesterday. Have you listened to Maggie Rogers' music? No, you should. You'd love her. So he's still a friend. But the luck of that, I'm sure you hear about people on TV shows. I've directed TV shows. I directed a show in season 1. The 2 leads got along great. And I came back to direct an episode in season 2. And the first assistant director said, can I talk to you for a minute? And I went, oh, no. And I wanted to bash their heads together and say, in 1 minute, you won't have this job. In 1 minute, don't blow it by not enjoying it.
In 1 minute, you won't have this job. That also reminds me of this thing where you had this tension between not wanting to be more famous, having been inside of that, knowing that it's awful, just dehumanizing.
It's awful, except you get good tickets to plays and seats in restaurants, which honestly, I can't say it's so awful. Can I please get a table in 1 minute? You know what I mean? So to be fair, it has both qualities, but it can have teeth. I mean, you know, it can be not good.
It can be dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And then being like, okay, well, this isn't worth the trade-off for me. It may be for some other people, but it's not worth the trade-off for me. So the tables and the work are good parts of it. Was the part where like people loved you good?
It's just, used to love James. I do still love James Taylor, just predictably. Wouldn't you if somebody said, who do you think Helen Hunt was loved growing up? Predictably.
Yeah.
But I used to go to his concerts and people who were obviously so moved by his songs would yell, I love you, James. And he'd nod and then he goes, it helps not to know me. So even though that's a little bit snarky, it is a very different experience, you know,
for sure.
The person who's being projected upon.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, I think that a fan, because I am a fan of many people, I can project something onto someone that is correct. It lines up, but it's still side by side. It's still two different things. How you are in my projection, even if I'm spot on. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I always say that like everything you see of me is me, but you don't see all of me.
Yes, I guess that's it. But even if they guessed all of it, it's not, the two things
Well,
don't,
yeah, I mean,
there's
like
a Venn diagram, but it doesn't line up totally.
eventually you have to add on all the parts where you're just like annoyed because you're in the same room with me because that's like what we do eventually, you know?
Right, right.
Like eventually even like all of the best is annoying in some moments.
Hmm.
Like mere exposure can be too much.
Hmm.
So your dad directed theater?
He directed theater. That's primarily what he was. And then when he directed a lot of plays, then there weren't a lot of plays. And he
Hmm.
was really a model of you keep making work and the outside world will want it and then they won't want it and they'll want it and they won't want it, but you keep finding a way to make work. So he became an acting teacher. He directed animation. He directed television. And then he kind of aged out of that and someone approached him and said, "Would you ever want to do motion capture video games?" This is my
Oh,
dad at like 77.
wild.
I know. So he learned. I have a great picture of him working with someone with the dots all over their face.
Uh-huh.
He's like a Renaissance man.
Mm.
He just kept making work.
So your parents were somewhat aware of entertainment when you started.
Yeah, I grew up in an artsy community. My parents' best friends were children's book illustrators and art historians and composers. So I wasn't like, sorry, everybody, I want to be an actor. It was not outside their imagination that might be where I'd land.
You have a credit on IMDb for like 49 of the last 53 years. That's freaking weird.
It is weird. It is weird.
So I want to talk a little bit about like starting out at 9, but then like it seems like you're fairly unscathed. Being a kid in Hollywood is not like famously the healthiest thing, but maybe there were things that made it a little safer for you.
A couple of good things happened. I started by studying acting even before the 9-year-old first job.
Wow.
And then studied all the way through. And yesterday had a coach over here to work with me on Chekhov. So studying has been, I love it. I believe in it. I'm very rabbinical about the work, only so that I can throw it out and have fun when I step in front of a camera
Sure.
or on stage. Yeah. But I am like, coaches come over here and they're like, Jesus. One person said to me, they'll like offer something up and I taste it and go, that's not it. But when it's the right thing, I get very lit up and that's slightly more rewarding for them. So I think that was one thing, is that the acting itself was fun. It wasn't the set or the come and go of the famousness. The other thing is that I was lucky not to have the, addiction gene, because that takes so many people in our lives down, in the business. I didn't have that. Very lucky. And I was never on a big hit show as a kid, so I didn't have to overcome that.
That's really interesting.
The good thing about all these weird credits you haven't heard of is I just got to act and work and meet people. And I had a couple of not great things happen on movie sets, definitely. But I never had to like I see what Daniel Radcliffe is doing on stage. And he's like, fuck all y'all. I'm working and working and working and coaching and working and singing and working. And you can Harry Potter all you want, but here I am in my next show. I mean, I didn't have to do quite that because I didn't have that huge thing. And by the time Mad About You happened, I was in a bunch of movies. So it all kind of became a deck that got shuffled and I wasn't pigeonholed into anything.
There's such a gift. I've had this in my career too, to like no exponentials, just linears.
There's your brain again. Dumb it down and tell me what you mean.
No, like suddenly I'm huge, but instead, like it's just getting a little bigger every year, or it's getting a little smaller every year. It's getting a little bigger every year.
Correct.
And you're just sort of like, you ramped into Mad About You. And I don't know how old you were in that series, but like you were an adult. And
29 or 30 to 37 or 8. So yeah, I had already worked a lot. In fact, when people came, we had the best guest stars of any show in the history of television shows. It just became a cool thing for these generation before us comedians to come on the show, and they just kept coming and coming and coming. But when we'd have younger people guest star, none of us were like, hi, we're the home team. You're here for a day. We all were very aware that in 5 minutes, we'd be a guest star on their TV show, that we're all just journeyman actors. Right now, we can exhale because we have a cushy job. Tomorrow, we won't. So that was, I think, what made the set a place people wanted to be.
Did you always see it as work? Did you understand it as like a job people have?
I was with my dad when I was very young and he was directing plays and he took me to the theater. And I just knew I want to be in these rooms. I really never thought about acting. I certainly didn't think about big success. I wanted to be in these rooms with these people. Overwhelmingly yummy people are drawn to the theater. Like inclusive, weird in the best way. Literary people are drawn to being in those rooms. I was like, I want to be with them. I also had that feeling of like a story is being told that might be scary or sad, but it's also safe because we're in this container together. We're all in this room and we know it's going to end, so we can put our toes in these funny waters, these spooky waters. I loved that. So that's what I knew. In terms of getting jobs at that young age, it was sort of like other people were in band practice at school and I was going off to do a couple of episodes of a TV show or be in a movie. It wasn't
Right.
a career path at all. It was just, I'm liking this, the way people say, I like cheerleading. I like, math club.
Yeah.
I liked this.
And I've heard you say that if you don't like it when it's a grubby bunch of weirdos
Get out.
playing for 30 people, just don't do it.
Don't do it, because that's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
Truly, in the best way.
I was surprised the first time they put me in a room with like a true crew and like how much of it was nothing. Just like me standing around while the cameras got set up. Just a huge amount of that.
But the exception is when the crew actually gets invested in the story.
Yeah.
I was in this movie called The Sessions, and it was a very delicate story about a man, a differently abled man, and his desire for sexuality, and that's where I come in. I mean, it was so vulnerable, not hot, steamy love scenes, like the most deconstructing sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And it was vulnerable for the characters we were playing. It was vulnerable for the actors. And I remember this moment where the dolly grip, so the guy who's got the camera on wheels and has to roll it into place, we had this tender scene. We're naked or half naked or something. And I remember him rolling the camera onto the mark while looking away.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, he cares. He cares to not embarrass the actress, but he also, I could tell they believed in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's cool when people other than the actors and the director actually care about getting it right. And overwhelmingly, that's true. It matters to the costume designer if the raincoat is off, because a bad raincoat, could ruin a movie, Jim Brooks once said.
That's interesting. So you are, in a way, performing in public. It's just for a smaller public. Like there is a little bit of an audience there, but all people who are very invested. Well, not necessarily, I guess.
There are times when you're acting your heart out, you look over and some grip is texting and you're like, oh, it matters not at all to you.
Yeah. I'd never heard this before, but I heard you talk about the magic sentence. Can you explain what the magic sentence is?
Yeah. I've written now 3 screenplays. I'm about a week away from being done with the 3rd one.
Oh, congratulations.
Humbly. And I've been in a lot of movies with a lot of good writers and directors. And the best ones, you find what is the magic sentence of the movie. So, for example, I made this movie called Then She Found Me, which does mean a whole lot to me. I told my daughter, when I die, don't have a memorial. Just show that movie. Everything that is me is in that movie.
It's so
It'll be
beautiful.
done. It'll be so easy. Thank you very much. So it took me a decade to find what the sentence of the movie is. And for that movie, it ended up being, you can't really love until you've made peace with betrayal, with a capital B. And I got that. There's a writer I love. Do you know James Hillman?
No.
Oh, fun to turn you on to a writer. He's a first-generation Jewish Jungian, and he wrote an essay called Betrayal. And I was going through something in my life, Hank, where that essay, in fact, I had it on my desk for a long time. A therapist had given it to me. And I mean, 3 times I had it in my hand over the trash and then went, maybe I'll keep it. And then one day I was like, I think it's time to read the essay on betrayal. But it's not just about the kind of betrayal you would imagine. It was about feeling betrayed by, let's not go down the rabbit hole of what it is. Is it something bigger than me? Is it fate?
Sure,
Is it the way things go? Is it God? Whatever it is.
Yeah, the universe is cruel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in the worst circumstances, people rightfully fall to their knees and go, why? Why?
Yeah.
And this essay dares to take that on. And I can't probably do it on a podcast or squish it down into that, compress it into a thumbnail or something. But it got to me that maybe betrayal isn't outside of the plan, if there is a plan, or the way things are. Maybe it is part of it. I'll just leave it at that. And then I went, that's what this movie's about. And then I was able to write it, and anything that supported that you keep, and everything that doesn't, you throw away. And it affected things. Bette Midler's in the movie, and she plays someone who betrays me over and over and over. And it affected what she wore.
Mm.
She thought she played a daytime talk show hostess. She kept saying, I thought I'd be in Poochie blouses. I don't know what a Poochie blouse even is, but I put her in these classy jewel tone colors so that the audience and my character would go, I think she's actually the real deal. Smash, you get betrayed.
Bette Midler, her character is like spot on in that, like, I understand every choice she makes and they are all bad choices. Like, she keeps making totally understandable bad choices, which I love because you want to not hate these people.
Right.
Even as they hurt each other. Mm-hmm. So The Magic Sentence, I wrote 2 novels, and I think that I had one stronger for the first one than the second one, but I didn't know what it was until I heard you talk about this. And then I wrote down the magic sentence for An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, which is, you will become what the world wants you to be.
Oh, wow. Oy vey. Really? Wow.
One of the things you said about the magic sentence is it's not really a good one unless you can argue about it.
The one I remember when I worked with Jim Brooks is he said, in broadcast news, you can't love someone you don't respect.
Yeah.
So if you think about that movie, she loves this guy and then sees this moment of horror from everything that matters to her. Can she still love him? So you and I could go have dinner and go, she still loves him, right or wrong. And you could say, it's not real love because, you know, like, it's juicy in that way.
But do you think you become what the world wants you to be?
I really hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not. I mean, because I don't know what the world wants me to be, but frickin' Instagram, you know, let's hope it's not that.
Yeah. So my story is about a young woman who has a bunch of very weird things happen to her, and as a result becomes very, very famous. And she becomes what the world wants her to be, and it's not pretty.
I mean, maybe that's life's work to not be that.
Yeah,
but
right?
I don't know. I think maybe one of the reasons you even want me on this podcast is who could figure out what the world wants me to be, really? What do you think?
I mean, the world wanted you to be things at certain times. And let's be honest, like, what the world really wants of, you know, aging women is not much, you know?
Yeah. Or get plastic surgery, or why did you get plastic surgery?
To me, you know, the universe wanted you to be famous. The universe wanted you to go hard, and you took the break. You said no. So,
I mean, I kind of took the break, and the break was kind of thrust upon me. I did somewhat take the break. I wanted to have a civilian life. You know, did you see that George Clooney movie where he plays a very famous movie star? Jay Kelly. And he says something like, the business was saying you cannot stop for 1 second or we'll abandon you. And then he says, and it was true. I was right. If I had stopped, it would have. And so I did feel like I don't necessarily want to do the next rom-com. I do want to be able to not do that movie so I could have a minute to have a real life, really be there with my kid. And naively didn't quite understand it would, you know, not be there in its full bloom when I returned. But then the business changed too. So also, if there's any design to the whole thing, and I'm not saying there is, I am now doing these plays. I have been handed these parts that are like what I started the whole thing for.
Interesting, yeah.
So would I have said yes if I was on another TV show for 8 years? Would I have even been available? No. So at some point, begrudgingly, cranky as anything, maybe you have to have faith that it's happening in a way that is good for you.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like you want to work.
I want to work on good stories. That's really all it is. It's not even the part, like a good story.
So my wife acts in theater, and it looks so good to be thrust into this space with these people and then to be asked to do hard things and deep things. And
that's what it is. Hard, deep things. And I have an appetite for that.
You have written, and then you ended up directing, starring in, and producing. I mean, producing the whole time, like trying to figure out how to get this thing to happen.
That's all that means. Producing is begging. Producing is, you know, get the thing off the ground.
I mean, with Then She Found Me, you started with source material.
I did.
But did a lot of creating from scratch on top of that source material. What are you getting drawn in by? What do you think that is?
Well, I just want to get the story made, and no one else wrote it, so I had to write it. And then no one else was making it, so I had to make it. And there was one time we were getting ready to make the movie. At 4 times the budget, it ended up being made. We got the money. I had bags packed and kids in camp and really a suitcase out. And I got the call. It fell apart. And I said to him, like, who gets their movie made? I was super at the peak of these peaks and valleys at that moment. Like, Who? And he said, whoever doesn't give up. So that's been my motto. You can quit or you can keep going. And so if it's true that the person who gets the movie made is the guy who doesn't give up, I have a good chance because I'm not a very givey-uppy kind of person.
Do you think Then She Found Me is a romantic comedy?
Sure. About betrayal by God. Parenthetically.
And also lots of other people around
Yes.
you. It's so funny.
Thank you.
But, okay, I'm going to do something that... So there's a chat on the right-hand side here, and I'm going to paste in a scene from this movie. Can you see it?
Not yet. I knew this would happen. This is the generational moment. Yes, I do. I see it, and I've clicked it. Oh, yes.
It's okay if you don't want to do this, but can we run this scene?
You want to switch parts? Come on. Don't make me do my own scene in a movie.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
All right. I'm playing Colin Firth.
And I'm
And you're playing Helen Hunt.
playing Helen Hunt.
Yes.
Perfect. This is not what I thought was going to happen. You were making me do much more work. Okay.
Check. Okay.
I know what I did to you in particular. Kind of worst nightmare kind of thing, right? I knew that. Even at the time, I knew that.
What else?
I'll do it again. I will. I'll hurt you again and again. Not like that. You'd have to leave me if I hurt you like that. If we were together, you would leave me if I hurt you like that again, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
Good. But I'll hurt you in other ways. Little ways. I won't mean to, but I will, and sometimes I will mean to.
This is quite an offer you've worked out.
You'll hurt me too, you know? You'll hurt me and change on me. You might even leave me after you promise you won't. How about that?
I wouldn't.
But you might.
But I wouldn't.
But you might.
Yeah, I guess I might. You're so sweet to notice that. Thank you.
So
This is what I mean. So at my funeral, which you hopefully will attend, if you have any sense of decency, just make sure they play this movie.
You've said it enough now. I feel like it's a requirement. So rom-coms have this moment where like Tom Cruise busts into the elevator and Renee Zellweger is like, you had me at hello.
Yes.
This is like the sweetest one I've ever read because it's way more honest than all the other ones. Because like it's saying what we will promise here is that we're going to do the hard thing. And then at the end of it, your character makes Frank, Colin Firth's character, makes him admit it. This is in sickness and in health, but in like a much more beautiful, strong. It's not just sickness and health. It's like, I'm going to be part of the sickness sometimes. Like, I'm going to hurt you.
This is the wish of the betrayal thing. You know, this is the trying to fit the betrayal message. Now, it also says, if you've seen the movie, you can see there's certain kinds of betrayal we're not hanging around for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just, we don't do that. But nevertheless, those things that come out of our mouth, those things we forget, those things we do on purpose even, and then have to go, oh my God, I just took a bite out of the person I love more than anything on earth. I was interested in that, in two people who might step forward together, knowing that that is part of the human experience.
I mean, what a freaking tearjerker.
It is. It's a little weepy at the end. And I have to give credit to the DP. The very last shot was supposed to be like the second to the last shot. And as he was shooting the last shot, he said, this is your ending, out loud.
Oh, yeah. That actual last shot is really gets you.
That's all Peter Donahue.
It's called Then She Found Me. And like it couldn't find an audience quickly.
Well, because it didn't come out. It came out in two little cities and got some really lovely reviews. Not all, but a couple of people really got it. And then it was supposed to come out on Mother's Day. And then the company that bought it fell apart on the day. And so they went chapter 11 and there was no ads in anywhere. Talk about a heartache 10 years later. Like, how do you make meaning out of that?
How did you handle that?
I wish I had some hack. Well, I just took 4 walks a day and it didn't hurt anymore. I just was super sad and shocked and devastated.
Yeah.
I don't have any spin on it, you know. When people come up to me and say, for these reasons, that movie mattered, or for no reason, because the movie got them. But for some people, they have personal stories that line up with some of the stories in this. That's super satisfying.
You know, it's Colin Firth, it's Bette Midler, it's Helen Hunt.
Matthew Broderick,
who I don't even want to mention because his character is such a...
but he's so good.
He's so good. That guy, I hate that guy. I've known that guy.
Me too. I used to love that guy. You hope to graduate from that guy at some point.
Something super interesting that I heard you say that like when you write something, you sort of like hit the last draft, but then when you get to direct it, that's like yet another draft. This hit me kind of hard, and it's got to be so weird and scary because like you're drafting it as a director, you're drafting it with these tools that you don't have total control over, which are these people, whether they're the actors or the crew. Is that, how does that feel?
That's the best part. You can't believe it. You've been sitting in a room for 1 year or 10 years or 7 years, writing something, writing something, writing something, and you give it to a few people to meet. Let's say you give it to a production designer or a cameraman, and they come back to you and they go, here's what I see. And this makes me think of this movie. And what if all the colors were muted? And what if the camera never cut here? And what if it was hand? And you're like, you see what I wrote, not to mention you can bring it to life and create another draft just by how you shoot it or whether you put wallpaper or paint on the walls. You cannot believe that anybody even gets or gives a shit about what you poured your heart into. And suddenly they do. And they are bringing it, from Dorothy in the house to the yellow brick road in front of you. That's one of the most fun parts.
Is it just fun? Are there moments where like, you just don't get it? Like, I can't get this guy to get it.
Well, I directed a movie where the prop guy was mostly high and not there. So that was hard.
Sure.
That
like,
was tough.
Just people being bad at their jobs.
Yeah, they're just bad at their jobs. That kills you because you expect, rightly and wrongly, for people to care as much as you. You hope they do. And people are good at their jobs, take pride in their jobs. They're running through the sand, not making enough money and, trying to help you get that last shot because you can't afford to come back another day. It's very moving to see people give a shit. It really is, to me.
Most actors don't become directors.
Yeah.
And like most actors don't become screenwriters. And
not working helps. Really. That phase where I wanted to have a baby.
Helen, let me tell you, I think a lot of actors aren't working.
Yes, that is true. I look around at my community and everyone's like, what happened? But honestly, I never would have made Then She Found Me except that I was pregnant and wanted to have a little time to have a, regular life. And then I was like, where's all the 50 movies where I left off? And they weren't flying in. So guess what? I sat down and wrote this thing that even though it broke my heart because everyone in the world hasn't seen it, it's, I'm very, very proud of it. And I wouldn't have done it if, Martin Scorsese had been demanding I be in 3 movies in a row. It wouldn't have happened.
Why is Salman Rushdie and Then She Found Me?
Okay, there's a reason.
That's really weird.
I know. That's a bummer. It is weird. You're right. And it's a bummer that it's weird. Here was the thing. Are you ready?
Well, let me just say, Salman Rushdie is a writer. He is not an actor. And he is just the doctor in this movie.
Okay, hold on. There's a reason. This movie touches on, for lack of a better word, God. I don't have a great relationship with that word, but I don't think I made everything. So that's where I sit with all of that. And it's not only a movie about betrayal by, me or Colin Firth. It's a movie about betrayal by something bigger. And so when they pray 3/4 of the way through the movie, I didn't want it to necessarily be a Judeo-Christian version of praying. It's not about that. It's about wanting something so bad, even if it's not your thing. There's no atheists in foxholes. Whatever that is, I didn't want it to necessarily be a Judeo-Christian version of that. I wanted it to be more inclusive. So I auditioned a bunch of people, Southeast Asian actors, couldn't find the right person. They approached him without even me knowing it. Are you willing to audition? Yes. And he did it. And he was good in the audition and in the thing.
He's great.
But I get that it's weird.
You were talking just now about how you don't have a great relationship with the word God. Would you be willing to talk about that?
Yeah, tentatively, gently. If I talk about it, I don't want to be poking at people's very precious thing. I'll just say Annie Lamott, I believe. Do you know her? You must know her. Bird by Bird. Do you have that book? Hank.
Look.
Call me.
I'm a big old nerd. I read sci-fi.
You're a writer. Read Bird by Bird.
Okay.
It's about writing. I could hand it to you. It's right here. I think she says it's like a bad nickname to her. And she's very Christian, actually, and very devoted to God and recovery. She writes about it. Here's actually the one thing I want to say about this. There are comedians, directors I love that have made work absolutely proving the lack of whatever you want to call it. Let's call it God for shorthand.
Yeah.
And there are obviously tons of people who say, not only is it real, I know what it is, and it looks like this white guy, and nothing else will do. Both sides annoy me, honestly. Is there no space for mystery? Can we not say there is one thing we don't know for sure? It's what keeps the whole thing of being alive sort of spicy, is we don't know. Well, I've heard you say that you're not a God person. Can't we say we don't know? Can't there be one thing we just don't know for sure?
Oh, there's so much that we don't know for sure. When I say that I don't believe in God, what I mean is I don't believe that God as it was pitched to me.
Amen. No pun intended. Yes, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
God could be everything from like the alien that pushes the button on the simulation that started the universe to like the thing that exists between two people that is not measurable, but is the most interesting and complex thing in the universe.
That's closer to me. Even if you go broader than two people, it is that thing that words can't touch. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Right.
And I don't even know that it is, but I know that I don't know. And I don't think anybody else knows either. And that's exciting. That's like, And then when people use the word faith, I think they're saying, well, whatever road you choose, you don't get to know. And maybe that's good.
I mean, the big thing I believe in is people, but I think that it's so hard to know how to be a person that I like begrudge no one any tool that allows them to do it well or better.
Yes, for sure.
Or to handle the betrayal.
Right. And so it helps me to say, help. And I look up or out. If I can see one leaf or one bit of sky, that helps. Beyond that, I know nothing. I know nothing.
I don't expect you to know what the universe is made of.
Okay.
But I do.
How big was this crush? Not that big, I guess.
I like that you think this is a past tense crush. How different is it to act in something that someone else has written and is directing than to do it yourself?
Very different. I don't even know if it's acting when you wrote it yourself. I guess it is, but you always are, there is a moment. I do all this work. I've been working for a year on this freaking play.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the 1 yard line, I'm going to let it all go and walk out there and hope that something happens and that all that work will inform what happens. But I will not be able to call on it or remember it or use it intentionally. But when you're directing, it's like whatever the most twisty yoga pose is in the world. On the one hand, you're pouring yourself into the part. And on the other hand, you're going, the camera got there late. I know it got there late. I could see it out of the corner of my eye. So you just have to be extra ready.
Yes.
And there's a loss and there's a gain.
I have this weird thing, Helen, where I feel like we celebrate the actors, but we don't celebrate the writers. And it's just because like they're the faces that we see, and so they're easier to pay attention to is what it feels like to me. But like they're just saying the words that the people wrote down. They're saying them good, but like
I won 4 Emmys for Mad About You, and I always heard, you're like us in our living room. Mm-hmm. Our writers never got noticed. Mm-hmm. The reason the show was special was the writing. That's not taking away from this weird chemical thing that happened with me and Paul. What an incredible actor he is. But all of these incredible writers, and somehow everybody thought, oh, it's Helen and Paul. It was not the case.
But there is, I mean, obviously there is something to the performers. You know, the way you talk in that show. I love your voice in that show. Like, I love her voice.
It's me. It's very me. If I had great writers staying up till 3 a.m, organizing it and putting it on paper.
All of your quips at a cocktail party.
And part of it's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then if you talked about As Good as It Gets, all of his movies. I mean, I think the reason he's one of those filmmakers that you can't change the channel if you come upon it, it's the writing. I'm so proud of the work I did in that movie. And Jack Nicholson, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's, actors working at their highest level. Mm-hmm. And I can say at the same time, all of it is the writing.
Do you really not feel as much of a connection when you are acting as when you are?
I feel at least as much of a connection because I've poured myself into it. But then I have to go home and I can't change it. I can't. Right. I can't be, I'm not in charge of it. I can't edit it. I can't. But you pour yourself in.
Okay.
Jack said once, he's directed movies, and he said acting is harder. And, what's harder than define hard? But what he meant was you pour yourself in a very non-linear, non-thinky way. Like it is flirting with being out of control when you act, which is why it's good for me. Because I'm awfully organized. So it's good to mess that up.
Interesting.
But when you're directing, I mean, you get in this state of mind where you are like, I'm going to land this ship.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be soft with you because it helps you do good work. And I'm going to be harsh with you because that helps you do good work. And I'm going to beg this person for a favor. And I mean, you get very singular of focus.
This is a weird thing to bring up, but I was listening to Christina Koch, the astronaut who just went to the moon and back.
Yes, the crew. We're all a crew.
The crew.
A crew is people or, a group that is in it all the time, no matter what, that is stroking together every minute with the same purpose, that is willing to sacrifice silently for each other, that gives grace, that holds accountable. A crew has the same cares and the same needs. And a crew is inescapably, beautifully, dutifully linked. So when we saw Tiny Earth, people asked our crew what impressions we had. And honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth, it was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe. I may have not learned, I know I haven't learned, everything that this journey has yet to teach me. But there's one new thing I know, and that is, planet Earth, you are a crew. Yeah. Thank you.
That's going to stick with me for so long.
Me too. How beautiful is that at this moment?
So like a piece of that is that humans are the crew. Like we are all in this together. Like what is this?
Yeah.
We're in it.
All. Not kind of all. Not all that fit into my box. All.
Yeah.
It's a tall order if you really hear what she said.
Oh no, it's the tallest order. But there's also a piece of what she's saying that like there are times like when you have a job, you're working on a team. But when you're like in a theater, you're kind of working on a crew. I don't think that we should ask that of each other all of the time, but it is really nice to have some moments when we are all like of these 10 people, all have to be pulling the oar in the same direction at the same time, at the same speed.
And I do better if you do better, and I do better if you do better.
Those moments are so lovely.
The psychedelic thing is then it applies to the audience that comes in. Like somehow you're saying, and you are also part of the crew.
I'm such like an indie little guy.
You are. You're writing books and in your room with your headphones on.
I'm just editing my own videos. When I do stand-up, like I'm on a stage, but it's just me. Mm-hmm. And like all the words that I've written.
I really need community. Like that's something I need. I have people in the living room doing play readings, and I'm meeting a dear friend for lunch after this, and I need community for sure.
Do you ever miss comedy though? Like just straight comedy?
So bad. There are no words for how much.
Oh.
I grew up on Lucille Ball. I grew up on I Love Lucy. Like that's how I grew up. And then I ended up in a sitcom about a married couple living in New York City. Uh-huh. But the joy of, and it takes so much detailed kind of brainy work to say, no, you got to put the napkin on the edge of the counter because if I don't grab it the first time, it won't be funny when I slam the refrigerator. But then you go, and if you have a partner that you trust, which I did, I miss it so bad.
Have you ever thought about like, I mean, I think the answer is no, but have you ever thought about just like...
Are you about to say stand up? No.
Oh my God, I can't picture it, but I think that you would do great.
No, I can't quite picture it.
Yeah.
One woman show, maybe. I don't know.
That's the bridge.
Yeah, that's the gateway drug.
Just tell a story and have jokes in it,
But why not have other people with me? Why be alone?
Because I don't know. What's wrong with me, Helen?
I don't know. Do you overwhelmingly like it and once in a while wish you had more community? Or is it a real thing where you're like, I got to figure out how to turn this into having more of a crew?
Uh-oh.
I'm so sorry. You're welcome.
I'll take that one, and I'll work on it later.
Okay. When we do this again in a year, you can tell me what you came up with.
Oh my God, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting, what is going on here kind of thing. I think that I can get frustrated by other people.
That's the annoying thing about other people, is that they can be annoying.
When you spend so much time doing it on your own, where it's just like, I don't know. Like, I like the inner critic. I don't like the outer critic.
Amen to that. I don't even like the inner critic.
Oh, I love the inner critic. Man, he's got great taste. He's always right.
You should read that Anne Lamott book.
Okay. Is there a part of how you're looking for projects now? Is like community a big part of that?
Well, looking for projects, I don't know how to look, because either they offer it to you or they don't, which is the worst part, or you work on it yourself. So I have a writing partner, and we wrote a piece based on things I'd been through, and then it all got fictionalized and brought a whole other story into it. And we were going to make it as a TV show. The Perfect Network bought it, and we had a writer's room, and it was they didn't make it. So we licked our wounds and are now just about done writing it as a screenplay. And that's been nice. It just helps if you're not a person who's alone in the room with the headphones. If you are out there in community, it helps. Like, I got to write with Wayne at 10 o'clock. Really gets your ass in the chair, which is a big part of the overcome for me.
You know what I found was the thing that got me to finish the book was like once I created characters that were like real enough, I just couldn't imagine leaving them there in the middle. I like had to get them all the way through. They were like the community.
They were counting on you.
Yeah.
Well, the beautiful, torturous thing, if you ever step into the movie world, is you won't believe someone could actually bring it to life, or you'll go, that's not exactly what I don't watch movies I'm in. I'll go to see them once if there's a thing.
Premiere, yeah.
Because for me, working on material, especially something as rich as what I'm working on now, is this 3D. I use my dreams. I free associate. I use Michael Chekhov's work, who was Anton Chekhov's nephew, who developed a whole thing about imagine. It's so rich. And then I see the movie and I'm like, well, it was fine. I don't know. Sure, it was fine. Or I was kind of moved, but it's not the feeling of working on it. That is, when people say process, that's the rich part.
So obviously the incentives have continued to change in movies, but like media is such an incentives-y thing. You know, the medium is the message, like how we can build economies around content really affects what kind of content gets made. And that has changed a ton in your career. How are you processing that?
I want to make sure I understand. Do you mean like the way it used to be in terms of there were 4 or 5 networks and then now there's 1 million? And
yeah, I mean, like there's like a TV difference, there's a movie difference in terms of like, you know, does anybody go and watch a dialogue-based comedy anymore?
I can't even. This is so excruciating. It really is. Can't you do something? You're on the cutting edge of things. Can't you fix it somehow?
I can tell you a bunch of things that will not make you feel good.
No, I don't want that.
I can add to the list of worries.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Oh, man.
My daughter goes to movies. That's promising.
Yeah.
Have to be 22. They matter to her.
The biggest piece of hope that I can say is that like people under the age of 30 were on the internet less this year than they were last year.
Right.
Now that is from a very high peak.
Yes.
But it is the first time it's gone. And, you know, the last few years are the first time it's gone down in a long time. And
everything falls apart. Everything falls apart ultimately. So
yeah, there is this weird effect where, you know, everything has fractured. And when everything fractures, there's just less money to go around.
Right.
You know, I'm out here on YouTube getting 2 million views on a video and
I can't believe I was on a television show during a time when how many millions of people watched it at the same time?
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a different world for sure.
It's a different world for sure.
You know, art is subject to the incentives. Art is subject to culture. Art is subject to technology. It feels like it isn't. It feels like it should exist sort of like out there in some between everything space, but it is.
Here comes another reference you're not going to care about. Do you know Sunday in the Park with George?
I've heard of it.
You and I should really be pooling our resources.
Yeah.
Because you know so many things I don't know that I'm not even smart enough to even quantify it.
The Venn diagram of Helen Hunt and Hank Green is really not overlaps at all. Yeah.
Well, a little bit, but not a lot. Anyway, Stephen Sondheim wrote a musical about George Seurat, the painter, that's all about this.
Yeah.
There's a song called Art Isn't Easy, and there's a song about what it means to finish the painting, and you have to get money if you want anyone to see it, but you got to finish it. It's an honest fight.
Yeah.
That's what I can say. It's an honest struggle, and there's something to that.
Yeah. I feel so not entirely, but like, I wrote a book that's about like you becoming what the world wants you to be. And I feel that way about art. I feel like that, like the art that gets created is the art that will get viewed, that will get supported, that like.
Not me. I made the art and not a lot of people saw it.
Yeah.
But on my deathbed, am I going to wish I made something I didn't love as much and more people saw? No, I'm not.
I have like an itch in me before we end to pitch people on this movie, and Then She Found Me.
I am grateful. I didn't even talk to you about it ahead. I want everybody to know that.
Yeah, like, do you love like Pride and Prejudice?
It's very meaningful to me. Thank you. Because I think the technical term is a smarty pants. And so the fact that you feel that way is very meaningful, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Really, really.
I love
Thank
Colin
you.
Firth. He's like,
I know.
yeah.
What a dreamboat. He showed up with all of that, but like I gave him one tiny little nudge for one take. That's the most fun part of directing. You say something to an actor that doesn't, how many pieces of direction have I gotten where my shoulders just droop? How am I going to make this director think I'm doing it
right
the way they want? But really, I'm going to try to keep some kind of creativity alive. So when you can say something to an actor and it lights them up a little, that is the best part of the whole thing.
Whereas when I have acted, I'm always like, can you just say it the way you want me to say it and I can do that? And the directors are like, no, we're not allowed to do that.
No, because we were all told we're not allowed to give a line reading.
Yeah. One of the things I have found as I have approached mid-career is I always feel better about the great work that I help other people with than the work that I do myself. Because I never believed that my stuff is that good. Like, my success doesn't feel as good as the success of someone who I helped.
What's your Then She Found Me? What's the thing that you, whether a lot of people saw it or nobody saw it, in your heart of hearts, like, I'm proud of that.
That's just not how I am. I make so much stuff. I'm really proud of my comedy special. So I was diagnosed with cancer a few years ago, and I did a special that is entirely about my experience going through that. And ultimately, the scariest thing about doing that is because, of course, like, everybody's cancer experience is different. And so if you're somebody who is diagnosed at like stage 4 with lung cancer, you don't have the same experience as somebody who's diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma at stage 2, which is what happened to me.
Right.
And so like, there's this terror of being like, I'm going to tell stories about cancer and you are going to hear that I'm making jokes about it when like, it is not a joke to you.
I want to absolve you of that fear. I just walked through someone's bad version and they died this year and it was totally devastating. But I know enough to know there is a breadth of experience and that there is a lot of rich stuff to come out of different kinds of experiences. So let that one go.
It's why it means so much to me is because what I have heard from people who are cancer survivors, whether they are, 20 years out or they're terminal, is that they all seem to really appreciate it. And
you're speaking to them. I mean, that's all we want, is to be in a circle of people who can nod when we talk in recognition. So way to go.
Helen.
Yes.
I would like to ask you our final question, which is if there's something you've learned from doing this work that you think everyone in the world should know, what would it be?
It goes fast. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. It all goes so fast. Enjoy it, enjoy it. I'm kind of poaching it from Thornton Wilder in Our Town. Tell me you know Our Town.
It's gonna end the podcast.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Together we make one incredible person.
The world grabs us and pulls us and...
I mean, it's generational a little bit, but my God, the things I would like to know that are in your brain. And clearly you have some reading to do. I hope you've been taking notes. I've not been handing you lightweight stuff. I'm handing you James Hellman and Thornton Wilder, for God's sakes.
Helen Hunt, thank you so much for being on this show and for being such a good sport. And I do apologize for my weird song
What weird song?
that I wrote about you
Oh, that you wrote about?
that you forgot about already.
I'm sorry. Well, that's also generational.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't have to worry.
No.
You can let that one go too.
Okay, that's great news. I might just take it off the internet. It's pretty embarrassing.
Yes. Take it off tomorrow so I can try to find it.
Okay. Thanks to all the humans who helped make this episode. Morgan Levy is the show's supervising producer, and Greg Rippin is our engineer. Peyton Mitchell manages our social media, Andrew Huang composed the music, and James Barnard designed the artwork. You can, and should, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Let's do it one more time.
Humans.
Humans!